just need to go to here. All good. View stream on copy link. Okay, let me just go over to Patreon. So you can start talking again and then put it on Patreon. But other than that, we're back. See, we're on YouTube. This. No idea what we're saying, but I'll get back into the. Look, there we go. All right, that was fast. Fast one, right? Okay.
This is so typical, people. So typical. We're just having a nice little session, a little conversation, and boom, one electronic, boom, 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 boom. They just go off for no reason.
Yep.
No reason. We're here in California. We're not down at Los Cocos in Mexico with a 2G Wi-Fi system.
Exactly.
We're up here with a 4G, 5G, and yet
we're on 5G.
Boop,
Yep.
boop, just gone. It's so frustrating. So frustrating.
You should have seen us with the computers before this when he was trying to find the thing to read. It's like you just can't catch a break with this stuff. Here we go.
That's on the delay there.
Yeah, there's Donna. Okay, everyone's logging back in. Anyway, if you guys can't hear us, let us know because I wouldn't doubt they cut out the mics next. That's how it was with the president thing the other day. They were just like, nah, we're going to cut off the internet. But I think that was the good guys trying to block us from stuff. But anyways, so they
what I was saying was you must believe, you must absolutely positively believe there is something stronger than you that is listening to you. Excuse me. And you know how Marissa has talked about we've gone from a third dimensional world to a fourth dimensional to a fifth dimensional world. What that really truly means is that we are getting closer to being able to communicate telepathically between people. People will be able to just understand what the other person is thinking and saying. We're moving towards that. But we already exist in that world because when we pray telepathically, right? We don't sit around and just mouth out our prayers. We sit quietly in a quiet place and we talk to God, but we do it through our minds. So we're telepathically speaking with something stronger. I like to explain to people that we have a team. We got a whole team. Everybody's got a team and they're all listening. And the one that is most responsible for helping you with whatever your petition is going to come forward, whether that's your higher self, whether it's your soul, whether it's an angel, whether it's the Father himself. They're all listening, but then it gets sort of like, the boss parcels out, doles out the responsibilities to other parties on your team to help you out. So you have to believe. And what I was saying was that Marissa has physically healed people, but it isn't Marissa. Marissa is a conduit. And Marissa is the conduit that allows the sick person to trust in her, that the strength of God will come through her and heal her. Just as Jesus healed people. They were healed because they really believed that him touching them was going to heal them. Jesus's physical self didn't heal anybody. It was the power that came through him that healed people. It was the power that came through him that created loaves and loaves of bread and fishes for the 5,000 people. So if you're sick, if you're down, if you're lonely, if things are just not going right for you, you have to give your will over and just trust that your team is going to put you in the right place at the right time to heal you, both physically and emotionally. And that's pretty much what I was saying. And Jesus said to remember what you're saying as we're doing all this. And I think that's what I was talking about.
Saying, yeah.
So just Jesus have any corrections to that? Is there
He says,
anything
I
he
said
wants
it.
to add?
He just said it through you. That's so funny. He's like, I said, that's what I just said. He said it through you. I told you, he came up, put his hand on my dad's head. My dad started talking and it was like, boom, power went out. It's like the circuit breaker gets hit and everything goes out. He's saying no, that he says, I couldn't have said it better myself.
Oh, good.
Saying that he's saying it through you. He says, but the example of the fish and the loaves of bread, that is because I could take my GoPro video camera, I could take the witness, the piece of all that is that's within this experience, and I could take it into the me that can create anything, the me that could levitate, the me that could walk through walls, the me that could walk on water, the me that had no fear. Because when you have no fear, not stupid no fear, not like you're so fearful you have no fear and you're just doing silly things, but no fear in that you trust that you are in the palm of your Father's hand and you are loved and you are cherished and you're taken care of, because you're not the human, you're not the soul, you're not the family, you're not the town, you're not any of these things. They're just clothes that you wear. They're just articles of clothing that help you to identify as a separate being from that which you came from, that which I came from, that which we all came from. And can we explain where we came from? No. The best way to explain it is it's a vacuum. It's a vacuum. When the energy is sent out from the dark matter, when the energy is sent out, it is going to get sucked back into the vacuum. But in that, experiences are created, and it's almost impossible to explain through this channel's mind unless we were to draw and have her look up some words, because then we could explain it. But it has a lot to do with the fact that you all are miracles. Have you ever thought about the fact that your heart just beats? Have you ever thought about the fact that your lungs are just expanding, contracting, just breathing? Have you ever thought about how your hands move and your feet move? You don't think about that because it's just automatic. But something created that. Something created these beautiful beings in which you're living in. And that's God. That's God. And just as Father looks upon a reflection pool, sees their own image, and that is how the souls are created, there is something much greater than that reflection pool, because that reflection pool thinks it's God, but there is really another one that is supreme to everything and anything you could ever know beyond God. And it's that awareness, it's that knowing, the knowing that you're something, the knowing that there's a God, the knowing that you can talk to a God, because you become that God when you talk. When you talk to God, you become God, and you talk to that great supreme being. If you are in your center, if you are grateful, if you are in forgiveness, if you're in compassion, that's the rules to the game: is trust, faith, honor, courage. All of these things lead you home, and home is right where you are right now. There's nowhere better than where you are right now. We have to say that. Many of you are like, oh, I can't wait to get home. Just as Joe said, there's a piece of you that exists, that's there, that's already doing what it's doing. There's a piece of you that exists with your loved ones that have passed. There's a piece that's sitting right there with them. But once you enter into the soul game gets a little tricky, because it's the fallen planet, it's the experimental planet, it's the dualistic planet where consciousness wants to roam into and go and forget themselves. It's an escape in a sense. So many have been stuck here for a very long time, and that's why we're here. All of us, anyone watching this today, anyone watching this in the future, is here to assist the consciousnesses that fell due to no faith, no trust, and fear, fell into the reincarnational cycle. Help them to rise up out of that fear and into trust. How will it be done? Through music. Mama? Yeah. Papa. Hi, Willie. Look at what did I say about when we're on camera?
We're on camera.
Well, I guess we're gonna end it now because I just saw her higher self go cut the cord.
Plug, unplug.
I love you. Okay, we're almost done. Yeah, no, it's all good. I told everyone that sees this that we were gonna do like a class probably on someday coming up soon, and that we can answer questions about stuff. But does anybody have any questions right now?
That's on a delay.
Oh yeah, it is on a delay. I'll have to set up to where it's not on a delay anymore. Live chat. Participants. Let's see who's here. There's 10. Oh, it's just people that are signed in. We lost all the others. But I think I posted on Patreon. I look so unamused there.
Yeah, people have very short attention spans. All it has to do is go blink for about less than a minute, 30 seconds. They go, I guess
They're like
not.
squirrel.
Yeah, look
That's
at
how I
the
am
yellow
too.
bird.
Magic is back. Oh, there's Glenn.
Hmm.
Glenn, he's your fellow ox. Glenn's an ox. He does astrology. He did a really cool astrology chart on me. We went off of your time that you said I was born first, and then we went off of the time that it says on my birth certificate. Because you think I'm born an hour off from my birth certificate, because you made it to some meeting at like 2 or something after I was born.
Yeah, we were meeting with Bob Clemens. Everything was happening around your birth.
I brought it in. That's what the kids do. They bring in the
I had just
energy.
I graduated a week before from college. Then you were born. And on the day you were born was when Bob Clemens was flying in his private plane to meet with us to finalize the building of the skateboard park.
Oh,
So right after you were born, I raced off to the airport to go see Bob Clemens. I let him know that you were born. He congratulated me, and I turned around and went back to the hospital again. Boy.
well, kids, that goes into what the guys are going to say is that when someone's like low, a lot of the times they're disconnected from their soul. They have no solar energy. They have no solar power. They don't have any life force within them. So it's impossible to feel the love of God. It's impossible to feel the light of God. And that's where music comes in. And just as they had you play that song yesterday, music comes in and it lifts the spirit up into the areas of the body, areas of the God body. When we talk about the body, we're talking about God's foot, God, your God self's foot, hand, all this. You're inside of the body that we talk about. Usually where people are sick, that's where they are. They're stuck in their pancreas, or they're stuck in their bladder, or they're stuck wherever it is that they're sick. But music, there's a reason why it's harps and clouds. Harps and clouds is the beginning of the under realms, beginning of the realms. That's why there's trumpets heralding, because the trumpets are the sounds and the frequencies that are coming through these realms and breaking up the matter, breaking up the emotions and feelings that we get trapped in like a swamp. So music is the key. Music is the key, and this is why we've been adamant about the channel music and things of the sort that we have been hammering into this channel's mind, which she will agree with when she listens to this. So he says, we will let you go now, but we want, he wants to talk tomorrow to us by ourselves. Why do you want to talk to us by ourselves? That scares me. He goes, because we got a new plan.
Okay, we'll just do an audio.
Yeah.
We'll just do a tape recording. We'll just have a session tomorrow and just record it
And
like
then
we
he said
normally
what we can
do.
do is we can play it live and we can commentary on it. Like, because what we used to do is we used to do the tapes and then we would reread them before they ever even went into the books, like sometimes 2-3 times.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, oh, take that out. That was coming from like my ego, or that was coming from my inner child, or, you know, whatever. So we would edit them a ton just to make sure that only the light was coming through. So with online and people being live, there's a lot of stuff going on in people's lives and their fields, but we're all sharing a field. So he wants us to do the tape and then play the tape live, and then we can go, oh, take that out or add to this and make commentary. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, and the only thing I can say, and kind of wrapping up here, is I wasn't spiritual in the least. My parents, my mother was, my father was not. My mother was, but she pretty much kept it to herself, except when she'd get mad and say something like, you know, God's gonna, whatever. But I was basically agnostic, bordering atheist in between the ages of 18 and 48. I mean, I lived my life completely devoid of God, completely devoid of wanting help. And I did it all on my own. I tried to do it on my own. But, you know, I look back now and I know that I was guided in many, many ways, because there's always a plan. And like I say, the soul's still up there. Just because you're not giving him permission, so to speak, by giving him your will to guide you through this goofy life that we're living down here, doesn't mean he's not trying, he or she, because they have access
and our souls do have a gender, by the way.
They have access to the warriors, and the warriors are the angels and the cherubim and the seraphim.
The fat cherub yesterday.
You know, sometimes your cherubim was a big fat guy, like
So
maybe John Travolta in the
Mhm.
movie when he was that angel that would smoke cigarettes and drink beer. You know, sometimes you get an angel like that because maybe you're like that, and so your angel has to be like that. But they're still guiding you. They're still keeping you from. They're still keeping you from taking that step off that curb when that bus comes, you know, by distracting you for just a moment. So they're always around you, whether you believe in them or not. But what they were saying, what I was reading to Marissa just before we came on here, was that with that belief, with that strong belief, you can heal yourself. Sometimes you need a conduit. You need somebody like a Jesus, or you need somebody like a Marissa to come in and touch you and say, heal. Pastors do that in evangelical settings, and people are healed. And it isn't because the pastor healed them. That the belief that the power was coming through the pastor is what heals them. So you can still heal yourself, but like I said yesterday, if you aren't immediately healed, it's because something else is going on. There's a reason for you to continue to be sick another 2 or 3 days, because maybe it kept you from being in a car accident that you would have gone out. You just don't know. So even if you're infirmed and you're not feeling well, or you're lonely, or you're depressed, or you're angry, or whatever, sometimes that's all part of the plan. But it was when you're in those positions, when you're down, that is when you need to speak. That's when you need to think. That's when you need to turn that will over and say, okay, I can't handle this. I just can't handle this. This is just too much. You know, why did my husband leave her? Why did my wife leave her? Why does my kid treat me so terribly? Or why do I not like my work? Why do I have to live this existence? Well, just turn it over. Just turn it over. And the next thing you know, you'll forget that you felt that way, because a day later, or 2 days later, something else is going to happen. It just always does. And you'll forget that anger that you had. You'll forget that fear that you had, because somebody's in control. And since you gave over your will to allow them to control you, to get you to make that right hand turn or make that left hand turn, instead of you trying to do it all on your own, things will happen. Because God only wants us to be joyful, happy, generous, and just fulfilled with peace. He doesn't want us with angry, mad, upset, worried, lonely. Maybe loneliness is part of that plan. And just put up with it. Just be happy, play solitaire, play card games for yourself.
Says that they have a fear of being alone and they have issues and they need to be okay with being lonely, because
Yeah, if you're
I'd be
okay.
happy if I was alone.
You know, if you can say, you know what, I'm really lucky. I get to be alone.
You
I'm not
used to
I'm
love it.
not bothered.
You used to be so happy you were going to be alone. You're like, I'm just going to live.
I
I'm,
know, but I didn't
and then
fear
you met your
I didn't
husband.
fear the loneliness. I enjoyed
Yeah, he loved it.
the loneliness, so to speak. But somebody who needs people in their life who feels the loneliness because somebody has cut them off, it's going to change. You just have to believe. You have to
You need to
just
get the
trust.
cords cut to that person because that's the fact that they have a cord attached to them. And that was a question you asked a long time ago, and I wanted to say it, but they were channeling. So my mind, it's like they need to get their cords cut and they need a healing. But with the somebody just asked on their souls have a gender. Did I say souls have a gender?
Well, let me just say this. One of our very, very first channeling sessions was with my dad. And my dad told us, my dad's long since passed away. He passed away in 1989, I guess it was. But he said that him and my mom have actually lived three different lives together. Their personalities have lived together and they don't remember nobody remembers their previous life until you go back to the other side. And then you go, oh my God, that's right. I used to be a plumber in 1920.
Oh, and now he's telling.
And now I'm telling. Is
Oh, he cut it off. He cut it off. Is this cut off? Oh no, there goes. Look, did you see that? Did you see it was cut off?
Dad, I'm gonna tell. I'm sorry, I'm gonna tell.
It got cut off. That was so funny. It was just us in the beginning. That's so funny. Can you guys still hear us?
Anyway,
he was a woman.
He was a woman. He was the wife once.
It's frozen. Look at.
My God.
Look at that.
That's crazy. This is insane. Come on, Dad. Let me say it. Don't be so doggone proud. You're supposed to be on the other side. You're not supposed to be proud.
He's not doing it out of pride. He's just doing it to mess with us. He's laughing so hard. He says,
well, you asked me a question. Are souls female or male? I'm just telling you that your personality can live as a female or a male, depending on what your soul decides the experience is going to be.
The individual soul, they're saying the individual soul is a gender and it's your physical body, what you perceive to be your physical body. Like when a baby is born, that's a soul. But the mind starts to separate itself from the body. Like I'm not my body, I'm my name. And so it separates, and that's when the soul and the body separate around age 3. And that's why you probably say that 4-year-olds are the best, because that's when they've just separated. They're like not a soul anymore. Now they're inquisitive and wanting to know because they don't know everything anymore. And they see stuff and everything because they're still in those realms. But they're saying that, because I was shocked by, I just said that. I was like, what? They're gender? But they are. Your soul comes down as a certain gender. And that's just what it decides it's going to be. It's like, I'm going to be a man, or I'm going to be a woman, I'm going to get married, I'm going to have a kid, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. So it decides. So when people are deciding, oh, well, I'm going to, turn into a different gender, that's not the soul making that decision. And that's, I wonder.
But it's our personality. It never changes. Our personality,
Yeah.
Our personality continues until we eventually become ascended masters and we become Christed.
And the angels don't have a gender. The angelic.
And then once that happens, then we get to become creators. Your personality becomes a creator.
But we already are creators. We just don't. We're not in alignment.
Well, that's because everybody's been Christed.
Yeah.
But there's a layer of me that's off living somewhere else at this time. I'm just having to deal with this existence right now as a learning experience within my soul's body and existence.
Yeah.
So we have to accept where we are right now. Where we are right now is right here in the good old 21st century, dealing with all the secular crap that goes on around. But we're still in charge of our own life. They're
saying above that, this is what a huge being is here, and it's like, it's Sananda. I am Sananda. It says above and beyond the I am, that I am, that's created all of this. It's like the eye of the creator. It's like an eyeball that I'm seeing. Above that is the me. and the me is the greatest aspect of thee. So when you can begin to be a me, be me, just I'm me, you are above, around, beyond, outside of that creator consciousness, which is within the mind, which is within the soul, the human, all those layers of consciousness are all within the human mind. But you're the me. And when you can say, oh, me, so I am having to deal with living through this reality, this world, that you refer to yourself as is you. And the you that you are in this lifetime is the you that you are living as at this time. So just as this channel said, I don't want to be her anymore. That's awful. I don't want to be her. I'm going to go here. This is not good for me. She was her me. That's the me. The me is where you come from. You come from a me, you drop down, you become a we, and then you slowly make yourself into an I am, an I, back up into a higher aspect of we, and then you become a me again. And that's individualizing yourself as a creator God and creating whatever you want. And it doesn't have to be in a different world, a different place, a different dimension. It doesn't have to be any of that. It just has to be. And when you can see that, and you can start creating anything you want with your mind as your me, that's when you'll begin to, that's when you'll begin to see that it's Luke's here. He always rhymes. Doesn't he always rhyme? I see him now and they're going, he's tiny, but he like is all boisterous and talks like this.
Well, he's magnanimous.
He's very magnanimous, but he's like, he says, the smaller you are, the better you are. The bigger you are, the more of a hologram you are. He says, because we're like the great and powerful Oz.
Yeah.
But I still think he's a fairy. I think Peter is too, and I think that Jesus was like the king of the fairies or something like that. I mean, we're all of the earth, unless we're an ET. Oh, that makes sense.
I know the ET throws the whole picture into
Well, they're saying that
a mess.
actually no, they're saying we can clarify this. Either the consciousness comes from the earth, and it's an elemental, so it's a fairy, a gnome, a devic angel, something that comes of the earth. It's ruled by Mother Earth, or the consciousness comes from another planet, and that's what you would call an ET, but it's still just a consciousness. It's not a person. The soul is when it becomes a person. The soul is what makes it a person, and that's what we were created in God's image of, is that soul, that light, that energy source, that solar logos energy. And so the ETs, much of the ETs is all a charade by your earth leaders, because they have to create this reality where you don't know, but you know, but you don't know, but you know. It makes it exciting. It would be very boring if there wasn't the unknown out there. And so much of it's a charade, but many of you already graduated from the elemental kingdom. Like you said, you became an ascended master, you moved on, went to other planets, and now you've come back because you like Earth. You want to help it out. So you would be considered an ET. He's pointing at both of us. You'd be considered ETs. What?
Well, my understanding is ETs are just basically humans.
That's
like
why I can't
us.
stand fairies.
They just come from a different time and a different place. But I do remember in our
No, they're
mysteries,
created by a different planet. So all the elementals are created by Earth. So we
Yeah.
are created by a different planet.
and about the souls travel a long way to find Earth. There's a lot of places souls can go. There's a lot of inhabited worlds throughout the many universes. And each one is set up in a different dimension, whether it's fourth dimensional, fifth dimensional, third dimensional. Third dimensional is where you have the duality. And so souls that have been living on a fourth or a fifth or sixth layer world go, you know what? I want to try that out. And they said and I'm pointing at our Earth's Mysteries book. I don't know whether it was Osiris or whether it was Christ or who was telling us. I'd have to go back and look and see. Was saying that souls travel a long way to come to Earth and inhabit a human body for the experience. And they come from other places, from, like they say that Marissa and I are actually
Ladies?
no, we're not the Pleiades. I think we're the other Arcturus. I think we're Arcturans.
Oh, really?
But I might be wrong. We might be Pleiadians. But souls come from the Pleiades or from Arcturus or from whatever. There's several other constellations up there where
They're saying
they come to Earth.
our spark, our consciousness originally comes from when it enters into this reality, Sirius.
Sirius,
Sirius
that's
A.
right, Sirius, not
Yeah.
not
Uh-huh.
Arcturus, Sirius. But other people out there in the world may have come from Pleiades, or they may be a product just of this Earth. There may
Yeah.
be new souls.
A lot of them are from this Earth.
And sometimes those that are created from this Earth are actually created by the dark side, by the Antichrist, by Lucifer. And so you have a soul that isn't so good, but the spirit can be changed out and the soul can relearn. So the light can come into somebody who was actually created in darkness. And when we discussed it before, it's in our very first book, Answers Heaven Speaks. You have to think that there was this board. There was a board of 12 directors that were on this board. And then there was one in charge. We called it the McDonald's example. You know, Ray Kroc was in charge, you know, as he created the McDonald's franchise. But there were 12 other board members. And each one of those board members went out and created new McDonald's all over the place, and then hired leaders for each of those. But one of those board members, hey, buddy boy, come on. Let me just finish up. One of those board members was Lucifer. And so 1 in 12, one of every 12 humans was created by Lucifer. That's really what it boils down to. So there's a lot of evil on the earth. But they don't believe they're evil. They believe what they're doing is correct.
Yeah.
But the other 11 know that they're not doing it correctly. So anyway, it's just a matter of having faith. Have your faith. That's always my usual lesson.
And that's all in the fourth dimension.
Just believe. Just believe. When you're praying, just believe that you're actually listened to. And so here we go.
He's eating my food.
Of course he is.
Can't eat my food.
Okay, so we're gonna do another one tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll do it tomorrow.
I've got a lunch tomorrow with
Okay, we can
somebody.
work around.
I'll come over tomorrow afternoon.
Okay, guys, I'll see you later. Hopefully the people that were expecting like presidents to come through yesterday understand what we mean by the fact that you can't just call people in and expect them to come. Like sometimes they're like, we're busy. And that's just how it works in this personality realm. So anyways, hopefully, I know a few people asked about that. So I just wanted to clarify that. And then, yeah, but he's eating all my food. He just came over, ate half my pretzel, and now he's going to eat the yogurt. Kids. Yep. Just like me and your brush. His brush that had like 3 bristles on it by the end.
3 teeth.
We fought over it all the time. Okay. Love you too, Donna. Bye, guys. A lot of the stuff that my dad was just talking about is in our book, Answers Heaven Speaks. And I finally got my website fixed. I think discoverintuition.com. You can download it there. I may put up a little thing where people can download a PDF of it or something like that, like for free or something like that. If they, this guy.
Hey, buddy boy, come
This
here.
guy.
No? Okay.
He's turned into like a little mama flip. Oh, you don't want to be on camera?
No. They have
Okay.
about enough
I know. Okay.
patience.
All right. I will see you guys later. And yeah, go to discoverintuition.com. We have all of our stuff there. And then on Patreon, I think I have pretty much every single one of our audiobooks posted or parts of it. And I have like even like coupon codes from a long time ago for people that could, the coupon codes are so good if you go way back where you can get some of the books like for free and stuff like that. So anyways, check out the website, go on intuitionliving.com. That's the Patreon page. And there's like 987 posts for classes, channelings, meditations, all that stuff. And if you don't have the patience for that, just go to intuitionmedia.vhx.tv. And that's all like the buffed out, like edited stuff where we just have like meditations and stuff in there. And you get that for free if you do the $100 membership, I think. Patreon, like this guy. Okay. All right. I'm going to go. Okay. Bye, guys. Love you. See you later. Oh my God. He just wiped his spit on my arm. Okay. I'm going to turn this. He knows how to push my buttons. That's for sure. And then, yeah. Hold on. He's going.